We are live. I say we. I've been abandoned. I'm on my own. For now, we've got the boys coming in a little while. We've got some amazing music lined up for you tonight. We've got Yost coming on. He'll be in for a chat in about 10 minutes' time. And then later on, we've got our mental health, what do we call it? The Isolation Wellbeing podcast. That's going to be starting later on. We've got Ricki Hall in for a chat later. Which is going to be awesome. Yeah, give us a comment when you're coming in. Let us know you're here. Be nice to see some of you in here because I'm on my own for the first section of the show tonight. So it'd be nice to know that you're watching. Nice to know that you're here with me. Just going to do the usual housekeeping. If you're watching and you know that there's anybody that can't get onto Facebook but wants to watch the stream, there's the YouTube link if you want to bang us up on your smart TV on the wall. That's always exciting for us. Apparently that's really easy to do through the YouTube link. So there you go. If you're just joining me, let me know that you're here because I'm on my own at the moment for the first section of the show. So it'd be nice to know that you're here, and let me know where you're tuned in from in the world as well. That's always cool to hear when there's people tuned in from all over the world, which there has been over the last 2 weeks of doing this. This is day 15 now, I believe. Something I wanted to touch on actually in a minute, once there's a few people in, is kind of, this journey so far and kind of where it's left me, particularly today. Feeling a little bit weird today, but I'm not going to drone on about it. But I think I've earned my right to use this as a bit of a platform to kind of ask for a cuddle from you lot. Had a bit of a weird day, but I'm good. I've been running. I've been in some cold water again, and I think it's definitely helped. And obviously jumping on here, speaking to you guys every evening is always a help as well. But yeah, what a crazy journey we've been on in only 15 days. Half a month we've been doing this. Crazy. So if you're joining me, please do drop a comment below. I'd love to know that you're here. I'm going to touch on a couple of things tonight. There's a few kind of mental healthy type topics. Obviously, Sundays tends to be our kind of mental health day. It's when we touch on all things mental health, recovery, well-being, wellness, that type of thing. It's weird that today of all days, a little bit shook up today, and it's mental health day, which I think is going to tie in quite nicely. So I can just be super honest all night tonight and just tell all of the guests that it's a bit of a crazy day. If you're joining me, please do leave me a comment down below because I'd love to hear that you're here, and I'd love to hear where you tuned in from. We got the incredible Yost lined up. Sat backstage at the moment, see the boys tuning up, doing their thing. Thanks for the private comment that I've just got saying that I look smart. Yeah, I had my shirt on yesterday, and it made me feel a bit more human getting on here after having kind of put some normal clothes on and put a bit of aftershave on and those kind of normal things that we do in the normal world. So I thought I'd carry on the theme tonight and try and sort of trick myself into thinking that we're living in the normal world. I suppose we are to an extent, and I suppose we're not to an extent. There's some things that feel kind of even more opportune than normal at the moment, and then there's other things that feel that you've maybe lost at this time, like connection with others in terms of real world connection. Obviously, a big part of this for us is reaching out and kind of connecting with you guys virtually. But yeah, I think today of all days, I've just kind of felt a little bit like I miss friends and family and that type of thing. So thanks for tuning in if you're here, and thanks for dropping a comment below if you're here. Like I say, I'd love to hear where you're tuned in from in the world. We're on an hour early tonight, you might have noticed. That's because we've got so many guests lined up. So like I say, we've got Yost coming in for an exclusive live set in a little while. And then we've also got our Isolation Wellbeing podcast starting from 8 o'clock tonight. We have Ricki Hall, who's a model and I suppose a sort of mental health ambassador now. I think he's kind of keen not to be labelled as a guru. That said, when I kind of had a chat with him earlier, he's definitely somebody who's on an incredible journey, a really interesting journey, and doing really well with the journey from kind of the brief chat that we had earlier, from what I understand. So he's going to be a really interesting guy to speak to. And then as a late addition this afternoon, we've also added Joe Sinclair, who I'm not hugely au fait with his background, but I know that he's a kind of singer-songwriter. He's very tattooed, so I'm sure we're going to have a natter with him about that. But yeah, we're going to find out about his journey as well. And I know he's got a few things that he wants to talk about in a kind of mental health capacity as well. So yeah, spreading the love today. Just trying to reach out to you guys. Like I say, let me know if you're here. It's always nice to hear that you guys are with us in the comments, and especially today where I've been abandoned by my fellow landlords, and they're all sat at home just doing their thing, just resting. No, I'm sure they're not. Oh, here we go. It's Jez.
Here he is. How's it going?
Hello, mate.
Hello. Oh, it's a bedtime to attend to. Sorry.
It's not your bedtime yet, mate.
No. Oh yeah. Caught the sun today. Look.
Yeah, you went for a nice walk today by the looks of it.
Glowing dome. Yeah, we did. It was nice. Took the girls to. Well, we went on a little adventure and found some places near us that we've never seen before. Nice stream and some woodland and some fields. It was beautiful. Yeah, it's good. It's good to get out, get some fresh air, and be no closer than 2 meters from anyone that was walking past, like diving into hedges to get out of everyone's way. But yeah, it was good.
I don't know if you heard the first bit.
I didn't know I was putting some children to bed. Sorry.
I'm basically just bearing my soul a little bit tonight. I've had a bit of a weird day today. Felt a little bit overwhelmed with all of this for the first time since we started it. It's something that I just want to, obviously, once we get Jamie on, we can delve into music, and I mean the music's incredible. I've been listening to Jamie all day today, and I think that might have even been part of what's made me a little bit more introspective today. You know, when you kind of listen to certain music and it hits you a little bit and it kind of grounds you and makes you feel a little bit cathartic. That's not to say at all that that Jamie's music is anything other than incredible, and kind of I think it's more of a compliment than not, to be honest. I think it was this morning when I first started doing the posters and everything, listening to Jamie's music, and it was the first thing that sort of had taken me sort of outside of myself in the first, since we kind of started this, really. There's been a couple of artists that have been on, not to take anything away from the other artists, but some of them are a bit more, pizzazz, kind of big shows and stuff, and then other ones are a little bit more chilled, laid back, kind of introspective, cathartic type thing. And I think that's, started it off today. And then, like I say, it's not a bad day. It's just a bit of a weird day. I just felt a little bit today like, whoa, there is a lot of work going into this platform. And it's just, the messages... Go on.
No, I was just going to say, I think everyone has days like that at the moment, don't they? Like, I've sort of slipped into a new way of life where this was pretty much all you thought about and talking to you boys every day. And then yesterday I got my kids back and it's like, whoa, bit of reality again, bit of normality. And just going for a walk with them today was amazing. And I know you've been doing your jogging, your running that you keep telling us about, or accidentally calling us, oh, sorry, lads, I'm going for a run. And you're jumping in the river and stuff. And I think all that's very important at the moment. But yeah, this has been quite time consuming, hasn't it? Especially for you doing all the techie side of it. So it's important to take 5 out for sure.
Definitely. I've obviously been enjoying it. And I think the initial kind of excitement and everything of doing it and kind of starting to feel like you're a bit of a podcaster and all those nice things that go along with it, the amazing messages that we've had in the inbox, that's obviously been a huge factor of it. Kind of, we know we're helping people with this, and we're getting the messages in the inbox that suggest that. So that's a big driving force with it. But I think I'm more guilty than most for kind of, once you give me a project to get into, I'd sink my teeth right into it, and I'll just keep going and going and going and going with it until I hit a bit of a brick wall. And I don't think I've necessarily hit a brick wall with it, not like your famous one in the background. But no, I think today, like I say, it's just the first time I've sort of been a little bit kind of just like, we need to, we know we're having good conversations in the background, and we're working on structure and people having days off and stuff, and I think that's going to make a big difference. I guess it's just the first time that I've sort of woken up and felt like this was a bit of a job, and I had a lot of posters to do, a lot of events to kind of sort out and everything. So it was just the first day that I sort of got to the afternoon and thought, I don't feel like I'm any further forward than when I started. So one thing I did want to say just before we get Jamie in is thank you to everyone that's kind of been involved with this journey so far, all of the guests that we've had, all of the kind of support that we've had, obviously all the guys in the background, all the landlords, but then all the kind of peripheral guys as well, all the OGs, all the VIPs, everyone that's been involved with the platform so far. This has been, for me personally, this 15 days has been the most incredible journey that I've ever been on. I've learned a lot about connection with other people. I've learned a lot about myself. I've learned a lot about working with a team, my friends who are the team. It's been it's been an amazing journey so far, and it's definitely something that we want to keep going with. The feedback that you guys give us means the world to us, and it's the thing that keeps us going with it. Ultimately, we're not making any money out of this. If anything, it's costing us a bit of money and a lot of time. That's not to slag it off at all. Like I say, we're massively enjoying what we're doing. And yeah, the feedback that we're getting is all positive. So it's definitely something we're going to keep going with. I think internally we just need to kind of structure things a little bit so that we can kind of create days off for people and create some time for people to have a bit of normality back in their lives, I suppose. But at the same time, we're all still very excited by this. We're still enjoying it. I don't think it's going anywhere. But I just wanted to take a moment to say thank you to everyone that's been involved. Like I say, all the guests, all the supporters, all the musicians, all the masterclasses, everything that we've done so far. It's been such a crazy journey, and I just felt like we haven't necessarily kind of taken a moment to stop and say like thank you. Honestly, it's meant the world to us, the feedback that we've had, and yeah, I just wanted to say that personally before we kind of kick off with tonight. So
well said. Yeah, we do appreciate it, and everyone's support, and even just you guys watching, even if you just watch silently and don't comment, the fact that you tune in and check us out is great. Yeah, if we can compete with EastEnders or whatever you normally watch, that's really impressive.
Well, it's the Queen we're competing with tonight, isn't it?
Yeah, that
the Queen's going on telly.
We've had to reschedule for Boris before, but Liz is having a pop today, bless her.
Yeah, well, if we weren't on such a tight schedule tonight, we could have changed things around, but it would have been nice if the Queen to give us a bit more notice.
I know, yeah, sneaky.
Right, anyway, with that out the way, like I say, we've got an incredible musician in for you. With that out the way, we've got an incredible musician in tonight. I'm super excited to have Jamie here. So, Jamie and the team, if you're ready, give us a little thumbs up in the background, and we'll bring you on. I don't think they can hear us. I'm going to gamble and just bring them on regardless.
Yeah, fair enough.
Ladies and gentlemen, on the comments, and me and Sharpie between us, let's make some noise and some atmosphere for Jamie Yost.
Yeah.
Hey guys.
Hello. How's it going?
How you doing?
You can hear us. Great stuff.
We can hear you, yeah. You guys good?
Yeah, man, we're good.
Well, thanks. Apart from a little sunburn, we're all good.
Yeah, Sharpie's been out in the sun and burnt his little head.
Yeah, and it's not so little. It's quite a dome, but yeah. Yes,
How are
we're
you
lucky to have three of you isolating together again.
Yeah, we all play music together anyway, so it's pretty lucky that we can still practice and do all those things. So, you know.
Yeah, definitely. We had the Mother Vulture guys on last night, and there was two of them who were obviously pleased to be together, but I think they were missing the rest of the band, and they were supposed to be touring at the moment and stuff. So I think, being able to at least rehearse and write some material, I think that's really lucky.
Yeah, it's very lucky. Yeah, it's a sad time for the touring lot, and anyone who most people who play music have had a lot of things cancelled, obviously, right now. But at least we can be together.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. You still getting on all right?
Yeah.
But we haven't gone. We've managed a year already.
You still sat quite close together. That's good.
Yeah, we have.
Not performing from different rooms on 3 different streams, so that's positive. Cool. So, have you been affected by it loads, tour wise or gig wise and things like that? Have you had things that you've had to cancel?
Yeah, for sure. So we all have, as well as my project, there's independent projects, Fergus' stuff, Drake's Island, and then Matt's stuff, Matthew Gordon Price. So there's been a whole host of things for me. I had a little kind of I wanted to do stripped back, intimate, house gigs. I had this thing called the Drawing Room Tour, and obviously they're not happening. And then just that you know how it is. Lots of plans cancelled.
Yeah, absolutely. If you guys send us over the links to all of those projects, we'll get them shared out for you, so that when the world goes back to normality, we can try and all come and check you out. That'd be great.
Lovely.
Definitely. You guys have shot to the top of my list for live shows that I want to see.
Yeah, Sam's been really fanboying you guys behind the scenes today, just to let you know.
Mate, it's my sort of music. I think there's some maybe some Ben Howard in there, some James Bay kind of influences. I've only kind of come onto this sort of music in the last couple of years because I've historically been into heavier music, I guess. I used to play in a band that was quite heavy, screamy, shouty sort of stuff, and it's only in the last couple of years that I've kind of accepted, I suppose, music that's kind of a bit more chilled, because I guess I never really had it in me to kind of just sit and chill for a minute. Everything had to be 210 BPM and just loud and scary. And it's only in the last couple of last couple of years that I've kind of really sort of opened myself up to this sort of music. And since I have, it's been an incredible journey for me. And you guys have very much become part of that journey today.
Yeah, you played some Oasis on the guitar around at mine last time you were here, didn't you?
Hey, I was drunk. That wasn't meant to happen. Guys, okay. Instead of us waffling on, I think we should jump straight into the set. If you guys are ready, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, cool. Yeah.
Cool. Thanks, guys. So we'll drop ourselves backstage. We're here. If anything goes drastically wrong, just wave your hands or shout or something, and one of the guys will be here. But until then, or assuming that doesn't happen, we're going to hand over. Guys, in the comments, please make some emojis that do this and all those sort of things. And Sharpie and I, let's create some atmosphere. Jamie Yost, everybody.
We'll just do some songs. This is called Runaway. No. I found you in the black, found you in the dark. Wanna see you in the light, wanna see you spark. Cause there's a fever I can't shrug, and it's burning for you. I don't wanna be alone, wanna take a ride with you. So let's run away where the world can't find us. Let love blind us, all remind us of everything that we used to be. No distractions, no reactions. Give me joy, feed me whole. Give me strength when I can't go. Give me heart, show me red. Show me the deepest moments you dread. Cause there's a fever I can't shrug, and it's burning for you. I don't wanna be alone, wanna take a ride with you. So let's run away where the world can't find us. Let love blind us, all remind us of everything that we used to be. No distractions, no reactions.
So let's run away where the world can't find us. Let love blind us, all remind us of everything that we used to be. There'll be no distractions, no reaction. Yeah, this is a song called Storm. This is very strange. I've been wrestling with my heart again. Got myself a meeting with the dark again. But these days it ain't nothing new. Keep the curtains closed, let the color blue. There's a cruel, cruel beauty in every day. Can't tell a diamond from disarray. But we all just let it go. Seek safety in the somber while we know this world can be a cold, 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 cold place. The chaos behind every grace. This world can be a cold, 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 cold place. The beauty you find for every age. Keep praying still. Keep praying still. Keep praying still. I've been wrestling with my heart again. Mixture my dreams with doubt again. But these days it ain't nothing new. Can't get a smile when I look at you. There's a cruel, cruel beauty in every day. Can't tell a diamond from disarray. This world can be a cold, 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 cold place. The chaos behind every grace. This world can be a cold, 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 cold place. Beauty found forever when you reach. Keep bringing the storm. Keep bringing the storm. Keep bringing the storm. It's cold, 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 cold. It's cold, 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 cold. It's cold, 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 cold. Hey. It's a cold, 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 cold place. It's a cold, 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 cold place. It's a cold, 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 cold.
Sorry, that was one of our neighbours
Sorry, neighbour.
banging on the window, and Ferg had to go sort that out. Sorry about that. That put me right off.
Oh no. I hope they're not too annoyed.
Texting the neighbour next to David.
Was that
My neighbour's going to get through my wall. I was like, that's not what I want. So I said, we're doing this. We're going to do this as well.
That's funny.
Nothing she can do about it. I was trying to lock the door and then come back in to do the opposite.
They did that pretty well, actually. Yeah.
I was like, my hands were shaking trying to lock the door. I was like, no, come on. Now's not the time to be difficult.
Comments or anything like that?
I love that sound. Nice voice, haunting sound, stunning, insane.
Thanks for the comments.
No questions yet. Oh, your mum's on.
If anyone has any questions for us lot, I'm sure you're probably new to us. My music, just ask away, anything. It's a new one of ours. It's called Nightmares. Yeah.
Geezer. I would love a cuppa. He's just asked if we want a cuppa.
Oh,
Would
mate,
love a cuppa.
that'd be great. Yeah.
Cup of tea right now.
Banjo.
Egg banjo, cup of tea.
Please.
Sorry. Okay, cool. Yeah, this is Nightmares. Never believed in God, but there's heavens to adore. Never believed in hell, but there's demons, I'm sure. Never thought I'd love, but with you it's hard to ignore. What if everything dissipates? Mine as they ricochet, rushing red. Can be hard to anticipate, now let's communicate in my head. Maybe we burn them burn them, burn them, burn them out. Maybe we burn them, burn them, burn them, burn them out. All the nightmares. I don't read the books I would love to read. I don't sleep nearly as much as I like. Oh, these nightmares are coming, coming tonight. Maybe we burn, 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 burn now. Maybe we burn, 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 burn now. Oh, nightmares, nightmares, nightmares. Maybe we burn them, burn them, burn them, burn them out. Maybe we burn them, burn them, burn them, burn them out. Oh, now, baby. Running in my head, oh there. 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 Holding down there. Running in my head, oh yeah. Running in my head, oh yeah. Running in my head, oh yeah. What's next?
Tremors.
Tremors. Okay, cool. Another loud song for the neighbours. I hope you guys are enjoying it though.
No one even noticed.
Nightmares is probably an appropriate song these times.
It's a bit of a nightmare of the time, right? Yeah.
Nightmare living in Town.
So this next song, Tremors, I wrote this one kind of about things like addiction and trying to get yourself out of a hole. Just a touch. Yeah. This is Tremors. Silence it grows, there's an anger untold. There's an honesty in your eyes, can't hide behind the lies. I know it's easy enough to break, so either slave succumbs to hate. And you falling upside down, when you turning inside out. When the traumas don't dissipate, you don't accentuate, don't slip away. We try again, but there's a danger in repent. And when we see you fight to fall, there's a home beyond wall. I know it's hard enough to take, losing out every day. When you're falling upside down, when you're turning inside out, when the traumas don't dissipate, you don't accentuate, don't slip away. In the wake of all that we said that night, moments past, hollow and fast, don't you slip away. To the traumas that you couldn't fight, the waking hours of a lonely night, don't you slip away. When you're falling upside down, when you're turning inside out, when the traumas don't dissipate, you don't accentuate, don't slip away. When you keep falling, when you keep turning, when you falling upside down, when you turning inside out. What's going on?
Just keep listening to that last one.
What time is it?
22.
Cool. So yeah, this is our last tune. If that's cool with everyone.
I'm not really sure how long we were supposed to play. I think it's about right, but yeah. I wrote this tune about my mum. This is for all the mothers out there.
Shirley, you want to shout? Shirley.
It's called One of a Kind. Days on the way, there were moments to admire. Little did I know she was wrestling with the forest fire. Was afraid to look, was afraid to cry. There were years in these rooms of confusion as the kings conspire. But she didn't let it show after it all transpired. A heavenly heart of gold, a woman tonight. She is one, she is one, she's one of a kind. She's one, she's one, she's one of a kind to me. Oh, to me. Do you remember way back when Eileen would sing? Smiling faces so dear, and here money don't mean a thing. Was just a boy lost in my youth, floating through your eyes as we danced from roof to roof. There were nights you barely survived. Hellfire and tears, but it don't keep you awake at night. She's one, she's one, she's one of a kind. She's one, she's one, she's one of a kind to me. Oh, to me.
as much as I could do. No, I adore you. Treasure the thought of you. One day I'll build memory bags, dancing full of fun. I'll be an older man, thankful for your home. For your
Gentlemen,
Oh,
incredible.
yeah.
Thank you so much.
No, thank you so much. Thanks for having us, for a great cause as well. You know, we hope people enjoyed it, and appreciate you letting us do this for half an hour, even though our neighbours didn't enjoy it.
There's a comment coming from Jack James saying, I wish these guys were my neighbours. I share that sentiment, man. Yeah, I absolutely love your set. I'm not afraid to fanboy. you guys have this isn't just something that just going to compose myself for a second. I'm not scared to say you're one of the finest acts that we've had on the stream, and I think you've shot right up to not only my favourite band that we've had on, but one of my favourite bands, full stop, to be honest. I really, really, really enjoyed your set. It really connected with me, and thank you so much for giving us your time.
Thank you so much. Cheers. Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to all this being over so I can come and catch you guys live.
Yeah, that'd be lovely. Yeah, it'd be great to properly meet, not virtually. But,
yeah, definitely. Where are you guys based?
Plymouth. We're based.
Oh, okay, cool. So you're super close. I can come and catch you as soon as this is done and you're playing again. We're gonna make a trip down to Plymouth and come and have a beer with you guys in the real world.
I said that. Yeah. Sorry, I had a daughter come downstairs, so I had to nip off the stream a little bit there. Yeah, guys, that was amazing. I didn't hear what Sam was just saying, but I don't know if the last song was dedicated to your mum, and she's been quite vocal this evening. She's in the comments. So yeah, big up Shirley.
We got one of our other landlords, one of our other hosts has just popped in, so I think he's pretty much going to say the same thing.
Brace yourself for the touch, guys.
How's it going?
There it is.
Sorry I couldn't join you guys earlier. Your set was awesome. I was putting my son to bed and then had to do some general washing up, pretty boring stuff. Your set was incredible.
Thanks so much. Cheers.
It sounded really, really good, considering it's a live stream and whatnot. But yeah, really good.
Right.
Yeah, the sound was awesome as well. I guess you guys are all coming in through some sort of interface, and
we've learned a lot about interfaces and how to plug stuff in. So,
we've been on a similar journey here. We've kind of taught ourselves everything here, and it's we've been there's been a lot of swearing and throwing things around in the background, and then it always seems to come together just in time for the live stream. But no, thanks.
Got broken. Someone knocked.
Yeah, she was getting a good just for
We should say a big thanks to Emma Twamley from the Glastonbury Music Festival, because she tagged me in your live stream the other day, and that was when I got to see you guys for the first time, and very pleased she did, because that meant we got you on tonight. So yeah, thanks to her and to you guys for getting involved. It was brilliant.
Thanks for having us. Yeah, we appreciate it.
I couldn't believe it when you put the link in the group. I was like, have I never heard of these guys? Like, right up my street. What are your main influences, man? Because I can hear a lot of sound in your music.
So I'd probably say somewhere between like early on it was a lot of Ben Howard, and then it moved to like Bon Iver and Kennedy, and now it's around there somewhere these days.
Nice.
And there's Den maybe as well a little bit now.
Do you guys listen to Matt Corby?
Yeah, Matt Corby's a big one actually.
Oh
yeah.
man, how good is that dude?
Yeah, that guy.
I've been
taught me how to sing from listening to him. Yeah, he's so good.
We've been listening to your tracks all day in the little landlord group that we have, and I've been comparing you guys to Matt Corby. And that's definitely not a bad comparison, to be fair.
No, definitely not. Yeah, no, he was a huge influence, definitely on singing. His earlier stuff more so.
Yeah, his earlier stuff's amazing. His new album's great, but yeah.
Yeah, different styles, but yeah, the old stuff was like Runaway and Souls of Fire, stuff like that. That was really cool. Untitled, yeah, there's a big.
When you play live, do you play with keys or piano? I've seen a couple of the.
Yeah, well, now and then it's like, whether or not we can fit it in the car, and songs that I play keys for, but yeah.
Yeah, cool. I saw a couple of the live things that you got on YouTube, and there's a couple on there with kind of full piano setup, and that was a nice vibe as well.
They're on top of the piano right now.
Yeah, there's a piano right there.
Oh, we're perched on top of the piano. Nice.
It's an honour to be sat on top of that piano.
Does that mean we can get a little piano exclusive?
Part of my living room.
Yeah, there's a lot of love coming in for you guys in the comments. I think everybody's sharing the same sentiment as us. Everybody absolutely loved it. Yeah, there's a lot of very positive looking emojis in the comments.
Definitely. It's a weird day, to be fair, though, isn't it? Because we had to push the timings around, and normally we go on at 8 o'clock. So I mean, depending on how long we're in isolation, I think we would absolutely love to have you back, man.
Oh yeah, for sure. We'll do it. We've got other projects as well that we can do.
Awesome.
We're gonna I was gonna send you some stuff of Drake's Island and then Matt's stuff as well. So
sweet, please do.
Please do.
Yeah, cool. Awesome.
Definitely. Right, fellas, thank you so much for giving up your time to do this. We really appreciate it. The comments, as I say, there's been a lot of love in the comments. People have really enjoyed it, but I don't think anyone's enjoyed it as much as I have.
Or me.
Thank you.
For me.
Fellas, thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, in the comments, lads on the stream, let's make some noise, make some atmosphere. Jamie Yost and team.
Thank you so much.
Thanks,
Be sure
guys.
to
Cheers.
send us your links. Man.
Fellas. Wow.
That was special, wasn't it?
That was, oh my days. That was,
If there's one thing I'm looking forward to getting out of isolation is to go and watch those dudes in the flesh, man. Because if it sounds that good for a phone, man.
Definitely.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
actually, all the acts. It'd be nice for us to get around and see all of them because we've been blessed.
Let's just have a festival when this is all done.
Go on then. Let's do that.
We're bringing all the acts that we've had. We'll do all the masterclasses. We'll have one tent of like cool masterclasses, chefing, all that sort of stuff. Teaching people loads of cool stuff that they can learn in the daytime, and then interspersed with all the bands that we've had. Let's just have a festival, Sharpie.
All right, I'm in. Let's do it.
All right, sweet. I'll send you all the to-do list after the show.
Okay. Send me the invoices. Nice.
Yeah.
It's Yeah,
Luca, we'll just arrange the festival, Luca.
They've got.
Amen.
Yeah, we're doing a festival now. I think we should say if anyone's got any big fields or perfect venue that they want to suggest, then get involved.
To be fair, it probably takes quite a while to set up a festival, so we might as well start now, haven't we?
Yeah. Well, we've got some lovely acts, haven't we?
We have indeed.
We've just agreed that they're going to do it. We might have to ask them, but
I reckon let's do it. Let's call it the Virtual Pub Live. That seems to work.
Yeah.
All right. We've just arranged a festival. It's happening. We're going to do it when we get back in the real world, ladies and gentlemen. It's an exclusive here on the stream. We're going to set up the Virtual Pub Live. I mean, the idea's been knocking about for a while, isn't it? But it's official now. We've just made it official. So we're going to be starting a festival. We're going to take all the acts. Assume this is me again, just booking people live on air
without anyone agreeing to it.
Thanks to everyone that's been an artist on the stream so far, and thanks for agreeing to come and play our festival, which you did. You didn't read the small print in the contract.
You might not have seen the contract, but well.
Contract.
Kyle in the comments is saying he's going to find us a field. So we can. If Kyle does logistics, Jack can do security or arrange security. Yeah.
Some dodgy security out there. If Kyle
Pretty
finds a
lax,
feel,
then.
it'll be like one of those free parties. We'll get shut down.
No, we're
There's
too
like
legit to quit these
three-legged
days.
dogs in there and all sorts.
Yeah. All right. We're doing a festival. There's an exclusive. We have exclusives on the
Easy.
show every night, don't we? And this is the big one. We're having a festival, whether you like it or not.
I like it. I'm keen. That's going to be great.
Sweet.
Might just be us three in a field.
So yeah, ladies and gentlemen that are still with us after the amazing Jamie Yost set, thanks for sticking around. Give us a little comment, let us know you're still here, let us know whereabouts in the world you're tuned in from. We love to hear from you guys. We love to hear when we've got international listeners, but also if you just tuned in from literally around the corner, we still want to hear from you because we bloody love all of you.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
We wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you lot.
No, definitely. I mean, it'd be a weird experience if there was no one watching.
We'd be better off back in the landlords group on Facebook Messenger.
Yeah,
Just
at least we can let out our
pretending
bonkers world views in there. All the conspiracy theories and everything.
No.
Some of those conversations, some of the filters. Whew.
Yeah, our filter game is strong in there, isn't it?
Yeah, it's getting better.
Yeah. Right, fellas. I can see someone sat backstage who's
I can.
remarkably handsome,
I can.
and I'm excited to get him on. We had a cool chat earlier in the sound check, and we're gonna have a nice natter now. So, ladies and gentlemen, in the comments and lads on the feed, let's make some noise, make some atmosphere. It's only bloody Ricki. Hello, mate.
Hey guys, how are you guys? You alright? How's your day been?
Yeah, good man. It's
great.
life's busy and crazy at the moment, running this and kind of all doing our day jobs and family and stuff in the background. But yeah, it's fun, man. We're enjoying it.
Yeah,
It's
really.
been, sorry to interrupt you, mate. Yeah, I've had a little look on the YouTube on the subscriber channel, and it's great, man. What you're doing, it's an incredible force, and it's great, you know. And especially at this current time with all this, you know, all the negativity going on in the world. This is like a little bit of ray of sunshine, guys. So it's great what you're doing, and I'm glad to be a part of it. Thank you so much for asking me to be on the show.
No, thanks for coming on, man. Thanks for giving up your time to do it.
I think it's that's an amazing comment, but you know, we have to thank each other, because without people like you who want to come on stream and come and chat to us, and the artists that want to come and play, we'd be the virtual pub would be half the platform that it is, if that makes sense. So thank you, man. Very kind comments.
That's great.
So, Ricki, we've obviously got you on to chat about kind of your story, your journey, kind of where you're at now, where you've been in the past. As we sort of touched on earlier, I think you've had an interesting journey, haven't you?
I have, mate. I have. It's you know, I'm in recovery from alcohol and drugs, and it's been, oh, mate, the last, you know, it's just been an absolute whirlwind, mate. To be fair, you know, I started drinking when I was about, you know, as we all being English, we kind of start early. I think, you know, like we go to parks, you know, we drink on benches, you know, when we're young, and we nick our mum and dad's liquor from the cabinets, and we go out, we just get shit faced. That, you know, as early age, it was something fun to do. It was silly, it was a bit rebellious, and that's how I kind of started drinking, like 14, 15. You know, started experimenting with drugs around 16, 17. But I knew from even like the first few months of me going out on a Friday night with the boys down the park at you know, that young age, I knew that it was strange. It was almost like I found what I was looking for, even at that early age. I knew that I didn't know it was going to be a problem in the coming years, but I knew that I really liked it, and I have an addictive personality. So when I find something that I like, I do it to the death. I get really addicted to something, and I found that really fun. I found that, you know, I found drinking fun, being stupid, getting a bit more confidence from somewhere. You know, I was quite a shy kid, and alcohol, even at that early age, played a bit of a crutch to me. So, you know, I could talk to girls better, which I thought I was. I thought I was being more charismatic and charming when I actually wasn't. When I wasn't, I was an idiot. But it was silly, you know. And then at the end of the night, everyone's been sick and throat, you know, I mean, just being and whatever. But, you know, fast forward the years, and then, you know, alcohol and drugs, they became a huge part of my life. Almost, you know, it was a day-to-day thing for me. And working at my dad's, I used to be a mechanic, you know, working at my dad's motorbike shop in Wolverhampton, and, you know, after work we'd always go for a few pints, and I always found myself always the last one to go home, if going home at all. So, you know, that It started quite early, yeah, and and then I moved. I got scouted when I came down to. I'm just pinpointing at the moment, mate, because otherwise it will take hours to go through the whole thing. But I'm just bullet pointing just to get to the point. I don't want to bore you guys and obviously your amazing viewers. But yeah, so when basically I fast forward to when I got scouted to be a model. I got signed with Neb's model agency in London. Moved down, did all it was just coming into Fashion Week. Did all my castings. And I'd be invited to all these fashion parties. This was complete. I'm a boy from Wolverhampton, so this was completely off my radar. I hadn't experienced anything like this. All these, beautiful people and cool guys and amazing women going to all these parties, and everything's free, and everybody be drinking and everybody be partying and stuff. And I loved it. It was a very romantic kind of setting for drinking, and it was fun at this point. It wasn't a problem, I found. And then as the years went on, the drinking got more. I was drinking more. I was using more, and it started to chip away a little bit at my at my life and at different things. So I found myself thinking about drinking more. I remember being at work a lot on set or shooting, whatever, and I was always thinking about, I can't wait to finish and have a few beers and have a few lines or blah blah blah. And it just got progressively worse. And then and then I was starting to. It was starting to get a huge problem. So that's when I first went into rehab. That was in 2016, and I went in there, but I knew at the back I wasn't ready to go. I was kind of going into rehab to keep everybody off my back because I was being a nightmare for all them years. And then 2016 came in, and I shook myself into rehab, paid to go into rehab, and I kept putting it off. So like every week they'd ring me, go, "Rick, do you want to come into rehab this week?" And I was like, no, I'm actually all right. I'll come in next week. I've already paid my money, so I've already got my spot. So I knew I'd have to go in at some point, but I just wasn't ready. But my family was on my back, my missus was on my back, everybody's on my back. So I just went in just to I knew I was going to use again. I knew I was going to drink again, but I kind of used that first rehab as a way to get people off my back, and it was just to quieten everyone down a little bit. Anyway, so I did my rehab, come out, and within a month, 6 weeks, I was back on the drink and back on the booze. And the problem with relapsing, rehabs are great, but you're in a bubble. You're in a bubble in there. You're safe. You're with people in the same like-minded people, but you're in this bubble, and nothing can hurt you, and you can't use in there. You can't get any alcohol in there. You can't do anything like this. So, and you've got all these experts around you, so you're in the safest place possible. So you're okay. It's when it's the first day you come out of rehab. That's when the work starts, if that makes sense, because you're on your own. I did my rehab and I had good fun. I say fun. I mean, it was rough, but I enjoyed myself because I knew I was safe there, and I got myself sober, and my personality came back, and my confidence came back, and we got to play football like on the evenings and do all this kind of stuff, and I met new friends there, and it felt like friend basically. So I've got a very active head, mate. So my thoughts are all over the place. I get excited, so I do apologise. But so when I think of one thing, I keep going into it. But it felt like in rehab, it felt like these were actual friends, because all my friends previously were users, they're drinkers and users. And when you actually get sober, you realise you don't have anything in common with these people apart from using and drinking. And you realise, wow, I haven't actually got any mates, if that makes sense. Real mates. So when I was in rehab, I made all these cool friends, and it was nice, and I felt like I was cared for a little bit, and I was really open and emotional to people, and I was spilling all my thoughts all over the place. Anyway, I was saying about coming out, so I got all rehab out of the way, felt strong, felt good. Then I came out, and then I realised as soon as I walked out the doors, the first one was in Luton, this rehab. I walked out the doors, and I realised I was on my own. I realised I could go to the pub. It was really kind of a strange, lonely, peculiar feeling that I was back on my own again, because you're in rehab for a month, and you've got people watching you all the time and telling you what to do and doing this, and you're in this environment, in this bubble, as I say. And then I just felt super lonely after I came out. But then that's when you need to do the work, go through your steps and go to the meetings and get a good support network around you. But I just didn't do any of that. I just didn't do it. So, lo and behold, 6 weeks later, I was back on the bottle. I was back on the bag. And when you relapse, you kind of make up for all the lost time you had before. You know, all them times you wanted to drink but you didn't, all them times you wanted to use but you didn't. So when all this, you know, overwhelming emotion comes over to you, and you're kind of playing catch up for them months or so, or years even for some people, that you haven't used a drink. So you're just smashing your body to absolute bits when you relapse. I'm speaking on myself, not for anybody else, but this is how I dealt with a relapse. You know, you just absolutely nailing yourself to bits on the drink and the drugs, and you get lonely again, and you know you don't want to tell anybody that you've relapsed because you think you've let everybody down, and it's just a whirlwind. So to get them thoughts away, you just drink on top of it and you use on top of it, and you end up in a worse position than you was before. And you know, and I was using and drinking again after rehab for about another 2 years solidly, every day, just nailing myself. I was still working. I would never let it affect my work or the money for me to use, if that makes sense. So I was working, so I knew I could use again. I was always okay for a drink, and I was always okay to buy drugs. So, but then, you know, 2 years later, I'll still smash myself to bits again. And then I remember going to this crack den in Camden. This is This is June in 2018, and I went in this crack den and just to pick up some gear. And I ended up staying there for 5 days, no sleep, just drinking Jack Daniels solidly, and just bags and bags and bags of cocaine for 5 days, no sleep, no food, no water. I didn't wash. I was in a mess. I'd smashed myself to absolute pieces, and then I realised that was the bottom of the barrel for me, and I had to book myself back into rehab to get back into the rehab in Bournemouth, which is called the Providence, and that's the time that I wanted to go myself, that I knew that I was ready to be sober, because I went on my own back. I didn't speak to anybody. I didn't have people on me about it, because I didn't have a missus at this point. I didn't have anybody, kind of everybody just left me alone, because I knew I was just in an absolute mess, and just let him just crack on with it. He'll find it. So hopefully he'll find himself and stuff about. So I did it on my own back, got back into rehab, and and I got there and it went well. But about 2 months after that rehab, relapsed again. And then it was the loneliest point in my life. It was. I remember the first time I relapsed. I dropped my mum at the station. She come down to visit me in London. I remember, having a lovely day. Walking around London. We've been shopping, been to something to eat. Had a really nice day. And I dropped back off at the station at London Bridge for her to get the tube to Euston to go back to Wolverhampton. And I remember on the way back, I just found myself. There was a certain. In that day, I was just a little bit off.
Yeah,
I was a little bit off, and I knew from the moment I woke up that I was going to use that day. I even hurried my mum around the shops so I could. I was edgy all day, and I kind of hurried around the shops, hurried around the restaurant, and I got her back on the train, and I just went straight into the nearest boozer, and I absolutely just smashed myself to bits again. And that relapse was the worst one. I mean, any relapse is bad, but that one was the one where I was like, I really thought I had this. I really thought I had sobriety in the bag. And it's just, I'm basically what I'm trying to say is it's that it's so easy for your mind to change. No matter how you've got to be strong to be sober, and it's such a hard thing to do, because there's so many red flags everywhere. There's so many, your emotions are up and down. If you've got a bad day, you want to drink on top of it. I even drank when I was, if I had good news came in, I wanted to celebrate, so I'd use that as an excuse to drink and use, because I wanted to get higher. I always wanted to get higher and wanted to get higher, and even when I was low, I'd drink to make myself feel better. So it was just a mess. But I had that relapse, and I was another 6 to 7 to 8 months to just smash myself to bits again. And then you're back on your knees, and you're just asking for help. And then this is when my sponsor GJ Fat Tony, some of you might know him from Instagram. He's got a really crazy Instagram account. It's it's mental. It's awesome. You should check him out. It's really good. But we went through the steps together. And he drilled into me about going to meetings. I was dead against meetings, because I go to them and I get really anxious. My anxiety is just off the hook in there, and I couldn't concentrate properly. I didn't think I was the same as all these other alcoholics and drug addicts. I thought I was a bit different in my using, but I wasn't. We were all the same in there. But I just didn't gel with meetings properly. But Tony drilled it into me to go to them, and it does help because you get a secure network in there. A really good network of people, like-minded people exactly the same with the same thought process as you, and to talk. And it's like the first time in ages that I would talk to another human being about my problems. It's the first time in ages I properly hugged another person, and because I've been suppressing all my emotions for that. When you drink and you use, you're just suppressing all your emotions. You're not dealing with them at all. So when you stop and you become sober, all these emotions are just flowing out of you. I was crying all the time, and it like with sadness and happiness, and I just didn't know what to do with all these emotions because I was using on them all, and I never really dealt with them. Even when my dad passed, I didn't deal with that properly. At the funeral, I didn't register it properly. I didn't, all these different things that were going on in my life, I was just using on top of, so I didn't have to think about it. So when I became sober, so now, I'm still getting all these emotions now because I've been sober for a little bit now, but I still get overwhelming urges of ridiculous emotion, which is great to get it out and to talk to other people. But yeah, I'm sorry guys, I'm just babbling on. Sorry, I don't know if I'm making any sense.
It's super interesting, man. I guess
I'm just trying to get to little points really quickly rather than just going over.
No, it's cool, man. I think one thing that would be interesting to hear about is kind of what sort of things when you are kind of in recovery and you're on the straight and narrow, what sort of things do you use to keep yourself kind of on that path?
Yeah, so it's what I'm a massive believer in is structure.
Okay.
Absolute key. Just for an example, I'm quite an early riser, so I wake up about 5:30, so 5:30 in the morning, wake up, get a nice coffee on the go, then I go for a run, and then I come back and I have a shower. Sorry, can you hear me?
Sorry, yeah, I just dropped us out while. Hello, sorry.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, sorry, I just full screened you whilst you're talking, just so everyone can see your beautiful face.
Oh, sorry. Sorry. So I was about structures. I wake up 5:30. I get a nice coffee. I go for a run, come back, make some breakfast. Have a shower, and it's just, especially being in not just necessarily being in isolation, but it's just everyday life, and getting dressed well, presenting yourself well, just learning to take care of yourself again and looking after your mind and your body, and just, having these little bullet points throughout the day for your, it's like ticking boxes off. You're just doing these little tasks and you go about your day and you get your meetings done, you get your work done, and it's just about going down the list and checking the boxes off. And by the end of the day, you look back in your diary and all the stuff that you've done, and it's a really nice, fulfilling feeling because you've accomplished all these nice little things throughout the day, and it's just going about doing you go to your AA meetings. It's just having these things in the day, so it's just basically it's just a structure for me, just keeping that structure.
When we spoke earlier, we briefly touched on
making sure you're speaking to people, you speak to your sponsor, you're going to your AA meetings, your NA or your CA, and it's just about being present and about not being scared to talk about your emotions and just putting yourself out there, putting yourself out on the line a little bit. By you doing that, you can help other people do that. When you go to a meeting, a person could be in there who's literally a day sober, and you've got all these months or years behind you, and you can just chat to that one person. You can usually tell when they're a bit nervous when they're walking, which you shouldn't be because everybody's super open and lovely in there. But just by talking to somebody, it helps you to get stuff off your chest, and then they listen and they replay stuff back to you, and you're just helping each other. And talking is the biggest thing you can do, I think. Because being a lad from Wolverhampton who didn't really talk about his emotions as much, I wasn't really a big believer in all that. But since trying it and speak to all these people, it's been great. It's changed my life doing that. Yeah, it's changed my life.
That's
but yeah,
cool.
as I said before, yeah.
Sorry, no, I was just going to say, I think that point on structure is probably really prevalent right now for a lot of people who aren't working, and it'd be quite easy to sit in your pants all day, wouldn't it, and just slip into some bad habits.
I mean, it's quite inviting, isn't it? It's quite a handsome thing.
Yeah, maybe a day or two is all right.
Why did you look at me when you said that, Nick?
It's my reflection I was looking at.
Yeah, he's just checking himself out. Yeah, he's looking at himself. Yeah, but no, it's this is why it's so important to do this in isolation, because otherwise your mind goes stagnant when we're doing absolutely nothing. You know what I mean? We're just sitting on our phones all day. We're looking through Instagram, which is not good for anybody for a long amount of time. I mean, it's just Instagram's gone quite funny. It used to be quite cool back in the day. It was like, yeah, this is fun and nice, but how many times do you go to somebody's Instagram and you actually feel better about yourself coming away from it?
Rarely.
Never.
Very rarely, do you?
No, exactly.
Very rarely.
You
go to somebody's. Go on.
You always find yourself. I don't do it on purpose, but you're like, oh, look at their lovely life, like.
Yeah, look at their lovely life. Look at their lovely skin. Look at their hair. Look how muscular or how slim, or look where they are, and it's fake. It's all fake. It's nothing. People retouching their pictures all the time or putting fake captions of what's going on. When in reality, they're obviously some people have an amazing life. I get it, but that's a bit of my jealousy coming out. I'm like, oh my god, forget them. They're in I don't know, the Bahamas having an amazing time, or or whatever. But we've all got that kind of that way of a little negative thinking but it can be a bit too much, and it's just you get swallowed up in it. You go down the rabbit hole, and it's just not good. It's just not good comparing yourself to other people. I'm massively guilty of it. I always compare myself to, back in the day, I was comparing myself to everybody. How do I make this person happy? How do I make this person happy? Oh, they don't like that. Oh, I've got to change that about myself, because I would hate a negative comment on Instagram. I'd hate not to have as many likes as I did from the previous photo. And I was just getting caught up in that. And I'm like, well, what are you actually doing, Rick? You don't even know these people, and you're trying to please all these thousands of people when you're not, you need to please yourself before you can please anybody. Do you know what I mean? You need to love yourself before, otherwise, so now I just put loads of cats on my Instagram. I'm into food. Yeah, I'm just cooking around, and I remember having an Instagram message about 6 months ago, and it's always stuck with me, and I don't know why, because it's annoying. But this guy messaged me, and it was like, oh, Rick, I've been following you for years, but I've had to unfollow you, and so have loads of other people, because you've just gone boring now. You've gone stagnant. Nobody gives a shit about your sobriety anymore. It used to be cool. It used to be rock and roll. I was like, no way, man. How can you say that, man? I was like, dude, I'm trying to make myself better. And he's like, oh, you used to be cooler when you drank. I was like, dude, mate.
Nah,
I was like, that could make you relapse. I was thinking, it was
take
really
that sort of
horrible.
thing as a compliment, I guess, because look, you're on a journey towards recovery or in recovery, and I think people like you said earlier, they glamorize the rock and roll lifestyle, they glamorize people's Instagram feeds, but ultimately you're looking at somebody's highlight reel when you're looking on Instagram. You're not looking at the real kind of story that's happening behind, and I think we're all guilty of that. It's very rare. I mean, it's becoming more and more kind of accepted and more popular these days for people to kind of jump on Instagram. In fact, I'll openly say it, I did it today. I put a little post on there going, feeling a little bit overwhelmed today, and the response that I got back off it, just lots of people coming back to me saying like, oh, we're here for you, stay strong with the pub thing, you're doing a really good thing, all that sort of stuff. But I think the point there was like I say, when you're looking on Instagram, you're looking at somebody's highlight reel. You even hear stories of people staging things like renting out a jet or whatever and going and taking a picture on it. Just crazy.
It happened, mate. That happens every day, all day long, and that's great, mate. If that makes them happy, then that makes them happy. I'm not bad mouthing it at all. It's just that people need to realise that 90% of it's not real with people. People are putting these pictures up from months ago when they're at home in pajamas watching telly, but they're pretending they're in this. It happens, and I'm not saying it happens. Everybody does it, but I think we're all a little bit guilty of bending the truth and making things seem a little bit more fun and glamorous and sexy.
It's
now,
the amount of likes is your score going up.
Yeah.
And we chase likes, and even to this day, it's instant. If you're feeling that, you're having a boring day, sometimes it's a bit of a mundane day, and you found an old picture from, you think, actually I look all right in that picture. I'll put it up for a nice bit of instant gratification from people. Get the comments coming, make myself feel better, and then you do it, and you're like, well, that was a hollow victory.
In that respect, I think you have to be super careful with that sort of stuff, because it becomes essentially a drug. If you're using something externally to make yourself feel better, 100%. I think particularly for people that are on a kind of 12-step or a recovery program, I think you have to be very careful about anything that takes you outside of yourself. Any external thing that can make you feel different, you have to treat it like a drug, because ultimately you can become addicted to those things as well.
Totally. I remember. Yeah. Sorry to interrupt you there, lad. But when I was in rehab, you had to give your phones in the morning, and you get back in the evening. But I would have a fake phone. I had 2 phones with me in rehab, and I had a fake phone that I'd give in the basket in the morning, keep my other one on me, and I would every time between the lessons, the groups, I would run to the toilet, check my Instagram, or post something on my story, and so I needed that. I needed a hit. I needed, because I wasn't allowed any sex, I wasn't allowed any drugs, and I wasn't allowed any alcohol. I was had no highs apart from being sober, which is, it's a high to me now, of course, because I'm present, but then I needed something because of all my highs that I was used to, all the crutches that I was used to being taken away. I needed something. I didn't care what it was. I just needed something to give me that instant gratification, and Instagram was that. That's what I was doing, and I was feeding my addiction. I remember putting up 20, 30, 40 stories a day at some point. Like after we went home to our apartments in the evening, I was just Instagramming just absolute nonsense, just to get myself out there, just to try and get somebody to comment on something. To get that
dopamine hit.
And looking back on it, it was mental, but it got me through rehab, and it was a little bit silly, it was a little bit fun, but my mind, I wish I left my phone somewhere else. That rehab would have been a lot better with Instagram, to be fair, and without my phone.
Now, sort of looking back, do you find that if you ever have like a down day or a bad day and you almost feel like you want to relapse, or you just might not want to relapse but you just feel pretty crap, do you ever have a break off Instagram? Do you find that?
Yeah, it's funny you say that. I have I'm trying to do it, but it's hard at the moment, isn't it? Because of isolation. That is. Yeah, but I've been playing a lot of badminton. I got the badminton. I've ordered a badminton set off Instagram. Off Instagram. I say Instagram on my head. Off Amazon. I've ordered it off Amazon, and it came and it was great. And then a few days in, I was like, actually, I think I need a new racket, and I think I need some new shuttlecocks, because these aren't up to scratch. So then I was getting I got a load of string to put up the court out to make it, and I was measuring it all so no one could cheat. So every single thing was perfect. When I'm into something as an addictive, I'm an addict. Everything had to be perfect, so I couldn't have anybody cheating. Everybody had to step off the grass after they finished the playing, so the grass could grow back a bit. Do you know what I mean? I was watering the court.
I think that's
I assume you're not isolated by yourself then. You're not just running.
No.
Really fast
Yeah. Mate, I'm so ripped at the moment. So ripped after that badminton session with myself.
But I think it's
but yeah. Sorry to say to answer your question. I'm trying to have a little bit of a break. Obviously, a lot of my work is through Instagram, so I need to kind of keep a little bit relevant with my new collections coming out from my brand or my male grooming products, the beard stuff, but. I'm trying to, but I just find myself just down the rabbit hole sometimes, just staring absolutely into nothing. And when you go to somebody's profile and then you realise you're into somebody's cousin's, kids, wife's, daughters, granddaughters.
You're still getting jealous of those people.
You're like, oh my god, it's like that granddad looks so cool. I hate that granddad. And you're about 16 people in, than you was looking at before. Like, what's going on? I need to have a break from this.
Rick, we've got a question in the comments. Somebody asking, does sobriety become easier over time, or is there always a temptation to use?
I always say there's always a temptation. Yeah, always a temptation. It gets easier, but it's not easy at all. Okay. Sobriety is not easy. It's not easy, but you need. As I said before, I know I keep going over it, but you need a network around you. You need to go to a meeting. There's meeting. I mean, I live in London, so there's thousands of meetings all over the week. Maybe the big cities will always have meetings. There'll be a meeting or 2 or 3 or 4 wherever you live, in the day sometimes. So you've got to get to that meeting. If you're feeling like you've got to use, I know it doesn't sound like what you want to hear, but just go. Because I've been to meetings before where my anxiety's been going off the roof. So I've been so close to using, and I've just thrown myself, got myself to the meeting, and after you share or you're talking the meeting with the people, you come out of that meeting and it's all subsided. It's all gone down because you're talking with people. It's communication is absolute key to stay sober. It really is. If you're having a wobbly day, pick up the phone. Go to the meetings. People are giving out the phone numbers all day long. So people want to help. People want to talk to you because it helps them, because they can give you advice and then you can talk back to them. And it's just a big, massive help database of people and knowledge. So get yourself to a meeting, talk to the old boys in there who've done 20, 25 years, 30 years sobriety, and it's mate, it's life changing. It really will. Going to meetings, I can't praise them enough. I mean, I hate going to them, but it keeps me sober. You know, at the moment in isolation, I can't do them. So speaking to you, lovely people, this is keeping me sober because I'm talking about it. It's taking the power out of my addiction, and it's going because I'm getting it out there. If I kept that in, I could relapse. You know, I could relapse. So I'm doing meetings every day with the Rock Sober boys. I'm not sure if you've heard of them, but they've got a beer. They've got a non-alcoholic beer, stout, I think it is, or an ale, something like that. And they've got a big network around them, and they do online AA meetings, NACO, like Cocaine Anonymous and Narcotics Anonymous, and it's just talking to them every night to, you know, even 10, 15 minutes just to keep you on the straight and narrow. And you don't necessarily have to talk about drinking drugs. You can just talk about how you're feeling in the day or what you're going to watch on the evening. It's just having that engagement with people, and it really knocks it on the head. It really does. I know it sounds silly, but honestly, it really helps. It really helps me. So I'm sure it will help other people.
Dude, thank you so much for giving up some time and coming and talking to us today. It's it's an honor to have you on, and it's an honor for you to come on the stream and kind of speak so openly and honestly. I think it's a fantastic thing that you're doing with the work that you're doing in this kind of capacity now, and like I say, we really appreciate you coming on.
Thank you, man. I really appreciate you having me. And it's been really fun to chat to you, man. I'd love to do it again, man. As I said before, it helps me. And I'd love to help other people, and even if it just keeps one person sober for the night, then I'm doing okay, and we're doing okay. We're a team now, aren't we? So yeah,
definitely. Thank you, man.
Yeah, just guest presenter slot for you anytime you want, mate. That's great.
Yeah, I'd love to, mate. I'd love to have a little bash at that, of course. Yeah, for sure.
Just another exclusive. We've got we always do that. We just book people on air, and we're just, everyone just agrees. Just before you shoot, we've got our next guest in the background, who I thought it would be cool if we do a little crossover with. We've got Joe Sinclair in the background, so let's bring Joe into the feed just before Ricki shoots off, because I believe you guys know each other from back in the day, don't you?
We did. Hello, Joe. Right, kids.
How you doing, bro? Good to see you, dude.
Yeah. Joe and myself, we did a shoot called Glorious Bastards about 7-8 years ago with Sam Thompson, Daniel Bamdad, and Darren Black, the photographer.
Yeah.
And it was all the Tattooed Boys, wasn't it, Joe?
Yeah, that was way back, dude. Good times. Good to see you.
So I can't hear you too well, Joe. I can't hear you that very well.
Can you hear me now? Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. It's sometimes guests can't hear each other. It might be a good time. Sorry to cut you guys off from each other, but it might be a good time for us to transition over. Rick, thank you so much for your time, man.
Love you, Rick.
I really, really appreciate you coming on. We'd love to have you back for another natter at some point. Thanks, dude. Thanks so much.
Cheers, guys. Love. See you later.
Cheers, Ricki. See you later, man.
Bye.
Joe, thanks for joining us, man.
What's up?
How you doing?
Cool, man. Yeah, sweet. How are you guys?
Yeah, we're good, man. How's isolation treating you?
It's interesting.
Yeah,
for sure. I mean, where'd you start? Like, it's been a very mindful process. I would say, like an unexpected event, like for sure. Like obviously with the whole situation with the actual virus itself, and like. It's a mad time for sure. Ups and downs. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna act like I've been like legit good all the time. But I can do everything I can to make sure that I'm feeling as good as possible and ready for, when everyone comes out and we can start getting our lives like on track, and really making them better. More importantly, like it's a good time to reflect on everything that we've been going through. Like we go through like our lives without thinking about what we're actually doing. So it's a good time to kind of take a step back and think, okay, like I'm people that on a day-to-day basis, I'm not happy with like a kind of mundane life. The same shit every single day, and I have been doing that for a long time, and it's been a good opportunity for me to kind of reflect and think about what I want to do now, because it is now that we're talking and going into obviously the future. Hey man, what's up?
Hi, sorry, I had parenting issues again.
Cool. What's up,
Sorry.
bro?
I think
Just
this is
nipping up.
this
Cool.
is something that we're kind of all sort of
Yeah.
going through at the moment, isn't it? We're all kind of we're all doing our thing. We're kind of trying to do these kind of online projects, the communities that we're all involved with. But ultimately, there's an example of it. We're all kind of leading our real lives kind of in the background as well, and it's about getting that balance right between kind
Absolutely.
of your real world, your family, and that type of thing, and then kind of the projects that you're involved with.
It's
can we-
been a huge thing for me.
Absolutely.
Actually, just having the girls back. They've been at their mum's for a couple of weeks. They've come back to me for a week, and it's made life seem normal again. Having that routine with them and more to worry about than this thing, and just myself through the day. Having them to sort out like I would every other day has been really quite grounding. Actually, it's been good.
Yeah, good man.
But I think
Good for you.
Joe,
yeah.
can we speak about your background, kind of what it is that you do, kind of what sort of projects you got going on now, that type of thing?
Yeah, certainly. So, I mean, life's been kind of all over the place. I've been in a relationship of 5.5 years. I used to be in a touring band, like through like touring and stuff, like heavily addicted to drugs, alcohol, whatever I can kind of get my hands on, just to get through like life on the road, to get through obviously being homesick and everything else. I've been like, I left that band through my own personal decisions because I knew that it wasn't healthy for me, not just because of the drugs and the alcohol addiction, but just because it wasn't sustainable for a long-term future for me, because
it's
it was just sending me down a bad road. Oh, dude, like
Man.
unbelievably,
Really?
like amazing. At the same time, I'm very
It's
grateful for the
heavy.
experiences, but
heavy.
yeah, I mean, we did 2 months in America, like back to back, and I think
Wow.
I took like, I don't even know like what I was taking every single night just to kind of get through different time zones to home. It was real crazy, and then I came back and I was pretty fucked up. Like it kind of like
Shit.
threw me off. I didn't really know what was happening. I came back to like a part-time job like I didn't really want. And I was just in a real bad place. Fortunately, like at the time, I had a partner who was like real supportive of me and stuff, and like, you know, helped me get through. You know, I had to obviously help myself as well and make decisions. And then from there, I got like a better paid job, a full-time job, which again I'm grateful for the lessons I learned from it. But again, it wasn't something I wanted to do. And for the past like couple of years, I kind of been myself into madness, like kind of like, when am I going to do what I'm passionate about? Like, when am I going to like,
it's tough,
kind of find myself again, you know? So it's been a process for sure. And obviously with this now in the mix, like I've actually planned to move to Portugal 3 days ago. And my girlfriend actually went, so she's gone with my cat.
Oh man.
And yeah, so like I'm actually at my mum's right now.
Oh, mate,
so like I'm kind yeah, that's it.
Yeah, your
Bless
mum's
her,
always
man.
got your
Like,
back.
it's pretty hard. Like yeah, we actually don't get on too well. But like, you know, I still like it. Look, like I still care about her a lot and love her a lot, and you know, it's a good opportunity to show that I appreciate her and everything. And yeah, it's kind of a hard time right now. Like I had a fallout with my girlfriend, like, and we're on a break now as well, like in this crazy time.
Wow.
So yeah, it's a real wild moment. Like obviously, like at the moment I feel quite alone. But again, like as I was saying, like no better time to really find myself and to you know, like get myself back, like so like I'm ready. You know, if we do decide to get back and stuff, then great. If not, then at the end of the day, like I'm only bettering myself, which is important. So
yeah, definitely. I think there's not going to be a time again when we've got an opportunity to just step back from everything as much as we're able to, is there? You know, pressures of work and general everyday life. It's not going to happen again. So if there's positives to be taken from that, from resetting your mind and all that sort of thing,
what does that journey look like for you? What sort of things are you doing to occupy your time, and are you managing to keep them kind of positive?
Yeah, certainly. I mean, like I don't want to talk about it like the relationship side of things. But my partner went to America just before we were due to move, so I started picking up some good habits, like being on my own, like waking up, doing some like light morning meditating. Not something I found easy at all to start with. I'm not even gonna lie and say that like I'm like amazing at it or anything. I'm learning, like you do with anything. Just like 10 minutes just learning to allow myself time, like to say I'm worth this time. Like the time that I have available to me, like I am worth it, you know? And I think that's very, very important to say, like, you know, instead of beating yourself up about having free time, it's kind of important to think, you know what, why don't I put a face mask on my face? Why don't I have a bath for 20 minutes to relax? Or why don't I, you know, brush my teeth for an extra 2 minutes? Just like shit like that. Doing that little bit more for yourself and just saying like it's okay to do good things for yourself. It's important to do good things for yourself. Exercise, of course. Like I've been exercising for years. Same as Rick as well. Like we both worked in the modeling industry. Like I did some shoots with him like 10 years back, long time ago now. And yeah, you know, like I guess like that's kind of grounded me a lot, like over time, because I'm not going to say that times are only hard now, because like things are hard through life. Like there's no doubt about that. Do you know what I'm saying?
Of course.
Like it doesn't just come about now. Like
it's never
yeah,
easy
of course,
for
dude.
it's never straight for everyone. And I think that's so important as well, is when you're going through like a hard time. And sometimes you can almost feel like, oh, it's just me, why me, sort of thing. But we're all the same, dude, man. And like what Rick was saying about like opening up and like just talking to people, like it's massive, isn't it? Like you get it all off your chest. And also the point of looking after yourself. Yesterday I had an extra long bath. I got out of the bath. I was like, I'm getting ready for a night out, and I was staying indoors.
Good for you, man. You don't always need to share
on.
the picture of you getting out of the bath to the
but sharing's caring.
It's important that we work. I'm down to see it. But it's important we always work on bettering ourselves, like and loving ourselves, and do your hair. Work on new hairstyles whilst you're at home, like or like work on new anything that you want to take into when we can get ourselves back out there. So we have the opportunity to. We have more opportunity effectively when we go in, when we come out of this isolation period, you know?
I'm with you there, man. That's all I've been saying to myself.
I've seen a lot of people experimenting with different things. Well, Lucas Tash, for one. We've got a friend, Gav, who's styling a handlebar.
And fucking Tash, dude.
Yeah, there you go, see?
Mine's growing back, bro. I'm sorry. I should have shaved it just for you next time.
But yeah,
it's an important point. I think I would encourage everyone, like us guys included on the stream now, like let's take this time. This is a unique time. We are never going to be gifted like essentially like a summer holiday again. Obviously, look after your family and your kind of your priorities and everything. But take this time to try those new projects that you've always had on kind of number 2 on your to-do list. Things like people starting to like, even if it's like, get on Duolingo, start like trying to learn a new language or start that other.
I'm on that.
Oh, sick. Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I'm on that, bro.
What language are you on?
Oh, yeah. Portuguese and Russian. What about you guys?
Whoa.
I'm trying. I'm not saying I'm good. I'm not saying I'm good. Like,
mate, it's all about just trying though, bro. Like,
hell yeah,
that's the most important bit, is applying your mind.
Definitely.
But like Sam said, you know, we're never going to get this time to stop again. And it was really weird. I was actually saying to my girlfriend Leanne, before all this happened, I'd spend weeks and months going, is this my life? Like I'm a full-time chef by trade, so I was doing like 16-hour days, and I love cooking. And I got 2 kids as well, so it was like, is this my life? Like work mad hours, never see my missus, pay my bills, day off, see the kids for 2 days, put them to bed, back to work, pay the bills, and just continue. And I started saying in my mind, I was like, is this what life's meant to be? I was like, is this it? And for us to stop now, like, and I know we're stopping for a bad reason, because the coronavirus unfortunately is killing people and whatnot, but I'm trying to like take it with like both hands and see it as like a positive light, and just sort of be in touch with myself again. Like Sam and Nick are great friends of mine, but I hadn't actually spoken to them in such a long time, and I've never been more social now with being in my own house than I was before. If that makes sense.
It's weird, isn't it? Us guys are speaking to each other more at the moment than we have basically through our. I mean, me and Luca are toured together, and I say that was the only time that we've ever been this close to each other. Like I said, Luca got out of the bath yesterday and sent a picture of himself just as he'd got out of the bath. I hadn't seen that since we toured together.
Oh, nice.
One of our other landlords, Charlie. Like, I've never met Charlie in person. And we keep mentioning it, but it's amazing. Like, I've never met him. I've seen him DJing in bars that I've been in, but that's it. And now I can't imagine going a day without talking to him a few times. You know, it's
a super unique time, and I think that there are some incredible projects coming out of it. There's some incredible changes coming out of it, and I think the world potentially is going to be a better place off the back of it. It's look, we're exposed at the moment. We're in a unique time, and a time it's opportune, and we can make some cool things out of this time. And I think this is obviously, this platform is kind of our effort towards that, and these conversations like we're having with you now, Joe. It's like I think this is a big part of it. But I think it starts from the ground up, doesn't it? You got to look after yourself first. I've had a bit of a wobbly day today. I'm happy to say it. It's just been the first day, in the 15 days that we've been running this, that I've just felt a little bit overwhelmed by it. But then, like I say, you get on the stream like in the evening, you chat to the lads, you chat to Rick, yourself, and you kind of go through the motions of it again, and you start feeling better because you're talking about it. I think the worst thing you can do is just sit there kind of freaking out by yourself, and like Lucas said earlier, you start having thoughts of like, why do I have to feel like this? Everybody, like Rick was saying, you kind of see on Instagram everybody's having a great time and doing this, that and the other, barbecues, having a beer in the garden and stuff, and it's easy to kind of go down that rabbit hole of thinking, oh, this is shit, it's only me that feels like this, and why do I have to feel like it? And then, like I say, you start having this type of talk with people, and you're okay again, and you kind of, I think it's important. Connection and looking after yourself at the moment, I think, are the two most important things.
And being compassionate to others
100%, man.
Definitely.
Always, regardless of now or anytime, 24/7, compassion is super important.
Phone up people randomly that you haven't spoken to in like 5 years. I've been doing that. I texted a dude called Sam Bradley. He's a photographer, and he used to be a really good mate of mine, and I haven't spoken to him in maybe 8 or 9 years. I just texted him out the blue, text me back, and I'm gonna have a beer with him later on in the week, and it's great, man. Like,
nice.
Just be back in touch with people. It's nice, man.
Yeah, like I say, it's a real opportunity at the moment to do. Look, we've been, like I said earlier, we've kind of been gifted like a free summer holiday. All right, people are still, there's a lot of key workers, obviously, not to be ignored. People are still kind of out doing their thing. But if you are one of the people that's, I suppose, lucky enough to be sat at home and where the temptation is to just Netflix and chill for 3 months, I think it's worth kind of where you can kind of get the mental kind of capacity to do it. Try those new projects, do the things that have always been sat at the bottom of your to-do list, and I think that sort of thing is the sort of thing that not only is going to be good for you during this time, but you might end up kind of doing something that actually that points your life in a slightly different direction. So in that sense, it's a really opportune time for positive change for everyone.
Absolutely, man. I just want to add on that as well, like something I've been thinking about, because there's a couple of things I've wanted to pursue more now than ever, and I found from experience, because obviously we have no time frame, it's a case of us thinking, shit, I'm gonna do this, and I want to now because I have this time, I feel like I've got pressure to do this thing within this certain amount of time, and we kind of don't know how much time we have. And I think it's when we're doing these things, they are trial and error, like anything is. And like you said, we should just be grateful that we have that time to trial and error things we do want to pursue, and see whether just being patient with the process effectively, and not worrying too much of when the time is up, or when we have to go back to work, or what happens when this is all over or whatever. It's kind of just about living in the moment, and just taking in all the experiences for what it is.
Definitely. I think where I can kind of apply that sentiment to my own life is kind of through this process. So I run a web design company as my day job. It's myself and another lad. We make websites. We have an office. We do our thing. Whereas obviously through the kind of isolation period, I've been doing a lot of this as well as kind of running that company in the background. And I think what this has done for me, this platform, has made me realize that in some capacity in my life, when this is kind of all said and done and everyone goes back to work, whether it's this platform or whether it's another project that I start, I want to carry on this energy that I'm putting in towards this, where I'm giving some time towards something that is helping other people. I think it's become, especially today, but over the last couple of days, I've felt this kind of thought process happening in my brain, and it's kind of made me realize, like I say, whether I think, I mean, I've got my business now and I think that's there to stay, but I think in some capacity I want to do something to help other people. And I think this platform, this unique opportunity, this time that we've had, me getting involved with this project has made me kind of like realize that. And I think it's definitely something that I want to pursue. So in the sense of kind of,
I think it's awesome what you're doing, man.
Thank you, man.
I think it's awesome what you're doing. Sorry to interrupt you.
No,
like
cool.
when Jack like approached me about doing this, like I didn't even hesitate at all. Like I just thought, wow, that's fucking like a super dope idea for sure. Like, and it's just real organic. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's a good vibe, man.
Yeah, thank you, man.
Thank you, man. Yeah, that's where that is where it came from, isn't it? It was just us, me, Sam, and the other boys having a chat like this on video each evening, so we could actually hang out with each other and discuss what was going on as the world sort of changed for everyone. And we sort of opened that up, and people have got on board with it, which is really nice. So we said from the start, if it helps anyone, like one person, if someone says that really helped me what you did tonight, then we mark that down as a success and say we've done all right. But the response has been overwhelming, really. But a lot of people have been really, really positive about it. So we'll keep doing it.
Sure.
I think
this is great for me too.
Good, man. I'm
cool,
glad.
that's good.
If we can help, like Sharpie said, if we can help anyone along this journey, then we've achieved our mission. And I think we did that on the first night, and now it's just kind of, we're riding that wave of kind of enjoying. We're swept up in it. We're enjoying being part of it, but it's the feedback that we get back that keeps us going with it.
I'd be lost without this, personally. I've got
like I said,
really active brain. I have to be like stuck into something.
Yeah.
And if I'm not doing the stuff like our tasks that we have to do throughout the day to run this platform, then I'm like, right, I'm gonna make bread, and I'll be like really obsessive about making the bread. A bit like Ricki with his badminton. I just get it in my head, and then I just have to do
I think it's quite contagious as well, because
he's fucking obsessed.
He likes the outfits to go with it, I reckon.
Joe,
he does the outfits. He does. He looks good in the outfits as well.
Are you still making music at the moment?
I have been dabbling with music. Like I'm on a different level with it now.
Okay.
It's again like I'm kind of additional period of obviously with my current situation, like personal situation of like finding myself again, which is like that's kind of like taking priority right now. And again, like as I was saying. In regards to like the process, like I'm not trying to put too much pressure on it. I know it's there. I know I'm passionate about it. But it's just a case of like when the time is right, like for it to come together, it will. And I know that. But in the meantime, there's a lot more to the puzzle. So I'm kind of just like piecing all that together. And that's good. Like that's good for me, because if I was to rely on that too much, and obviously like as things do, they don't always go to plan. It's likely to hurt me more. Whereas I know if I'm working on self-improvement in all areas, and like working on like being disciplined with myself, like not too harsh, but I know that that's better for me long term. Musically, like I have music, like new music I haven't released because again, like this was a year back. I wasn't in a particularly good headspace and I was making this music. It's not particularly real. Like with anything like that, it's got to be real for me. And I haven't really produced anything real musically in like a good 4-5 years. So until I'm, I think the time will come soon. Like I feel like I'm getting into that headspace a little bit more.
I think you're totally right. I think I think I get what you're saying. Is sort of when you feel like you've got your everything sorted in your mind, the music will just happen, and not forcing it out necessarily, because I think that never works, does it? It's always tough.
Definitely not.
You can write a great song, but if it doesn't mean anything to you, what's the point?
That's it. And like that, and more time, you know, you can make music that you think people want to hear, or you can make music for the wrong intention. And if I am to make music like going forward, then I want it to be real. I want it to mean something to me, like previous projects have in the past. So it's more along those lines, to be fair.
I can relate to that. I've been in bands before, or mine and Sam's band in the early days. We would just like pump songs out, and I loved it. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed being in a band, but there was belief there, but there wasn't like self-belief, if that makes sense.
Yeah, man.
And then we worked to the bone. I think we ended up leaving the band more depressed than we thought we would have been. But we worked so hard towards a CP, and
so true.
Going on stage every night, it was like going to war. It was like me with my wolf pack, if that makes sense.
Yeah, man.
And there was so much love in that, and everyone believed in that music so much more, and it was so much more powerful.
Definitely. I think that using the band at the time as a creative outlet, but also there's that sense of, like you said, the Wolfpack, the camaraderie. You kind of like, you're on stage every night together, you're doing your thing, you're showing the world, you're exposing yourself, you're saying to the world, this is what we believe, these are our lyrics, this is how we're interpreting this reality. And then kind of jumping in the van at the end of the night, and kind of that sense of adventure, kind of going off to the next city, going to a lot of places that you've not been to before. I think it's an incredible journey, man, being in a band. It's touring did a lot for me.
It takes its toll though, doesn't it?
Yeah, for real.
Heavy.
It does. Like one thing I would say, like in regards to the music side of things, is like it's changed a lot. Like 5 years ago, Instagram, we'll talk about social media a little bit, as like you guys touched base on it earlier. It was a lot softer. It wasn't processed as much as it is now. Back then it was like, well, I use the word organic like quite regularly. I think it's important with anything creative. And just generally, but it was a case of like, you do your thing, you put it there, and that's what it is, and you don't even think about it. And like Rick was saying, like it gets to the point where you compare yourself to like other people, or like what else is there, and then you think, oh, there's so much there now. Like it's changed so much. Like whereas back then, I think it was a lot more kind of chilled, like with being, and it was kind of like original to be creative, or like genuinely creative, not like business creative.
Absolutely, man. 100%.
Yeah, definitely. I think, like you said, the whole kind of online game has changed so much in the last. The way I can kind of apply that is like when I first started out doing, when I said we make websites with the day job, another thing we do is kind of social media marketing, that type of stuff. And just in the sort of 10 years that I've been working in that industry, when I first started, I was a quote unquote expert, and now everybody and their dog has got an Instagram page, literally, and it's kind of everybody knows how to use it now, everybody knows what's expected, and it's kind of this weird underlying kind of rule now that you're supposed to be on there. You're supposed to kind of, there's this pressure for people to be on these platforms, and like we said earlier, show their highlights reel, almost to the, like we touched on that earlier as well, like to the point where people are doing mad things, like going out and kind of fabricating these experiences just so that people online can see that they're killing it, or they're so doing their thing, or like whatever, and
buy into it.
Yeah. And it's toxic in that sense. And I think the more we can kind of have these conversations, the more we can kind of not expose it, because it's not a conspiracy. It's something that's very much out there, and people do it, and people know that other people are doing it. But still, it's kind of the danger is with it, obviously, is that other people kind of interpret that that fabricated scenario as reality, and then before you know it, you are sat on Instagram getting jealous of the next guy. And I think that's where I think as artists and as people who do things like this, running platforms, that type of thing, that's where kind of your authenticity is super important, because if you're not being authentic, you're potentially kind of giving the next guy who's watching your thing a kind of warped version of your reality, and that can play on people's mental health. So I think authenticity is super important.
Definitely agreed.
Awesome. Right,
look
fellas,
at that weird little thing there, by the way. That's like the
loft hatch.
The loft or whatever to my mum's house. Yeah, it's fucking weird.
Nice.
I have to sleep. I have to sleep looking at that thing, man.
have you been up there to check there's no monsters up there? Because that would have been the first thing that I did.
No.
Don't say that just before bedtime.
I'm too scared, dude.
Joe,
what are you trying to do?
Out of curiosity, your touring band that you went to America with, what band was you in?
The band was called She Must Burn. It was like a black metal kind of like deathcore band.
Like Suicide Silence.
It was good. It was
heavy.
Oh, dude, yeah, for real. I loved Mitch Lucker, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But like, when we started it, it was again like it was so real because it had purpose. And then we got signed to a label, and people left, and we just started bringing people in order to like kind of fill space.
Yeah,
and like it just didn't. Yeah, it just, you know, it's down to me too. Like, you know, I should have kind of understood what it really was. I made some mistakes, and you know, that's the thing as well, is like you go through life and like you do these things, like you do all these different things, and it's just about learning from the experiences and like not beating yourself up over it. Like it took me a while, because when I left, I was like, fuck, like it was a hard decision to make, sort of thing. And when I did it, like I beat myself up over it so much. I was just like, oh, I made this thing, and like now I have nothing, and now I'm nobody, and like it was pretty intense. Like,
I went through the same thing really for like 5 years. I didn't even listen to our EP. I wouldn't listen to it.
Yeah, man. Like finishing the band was like a grieving process to an extent. Like all that camaraderie, that like adventure, all the positive sides of it that I kind of that I touched on earlier. You lose all of that, and you all of a sudden you're not in the back of a van with the lads every day and stuff, and it becomes a way of life. And then when you lose it, you lose something in your life. Definitely, it's a weird process to go through, isn't it?
You go from playing big festivals to working on the chickens in Asda.
Literally, in your case,
bro. I went from touring America, and then I came back and I worked in a warehouse for Euro car parts 3 days a week.
Oh man!
And it fucking like I didn't see any sunlight. Like I was on a come down because I'd taken so many drugs. Like I needed like rehabilitation when I came back. Like I was ruined. Like I was in a different state every night. Like we did like 14-hour drives overnight, and I just have to like entertain people like on and off stage. And obviously like to get through, I was taking these drugs and I just didn't know what was happening. I was getting carried out of venues at times because I was so out of it. Like, so yeah, I came back and it was just like a very emotional time. Like, and I honestly like contemplated like suicide like various times. Like back then, and it was really hard. Like I cried into my hands, and I beat the ground like so much because I just didn't know what to do. Like, and I had no idea what was next for me. But like little do you know that like round the corner, there's something amazing like waiting for you. Like it could be something totally different.
Yeah.
But like I've had so many incredible experiences since.
Yeah, man.
You know, so
cool.
it's
That's
just
so
like
good to hear as well.
Yeah.
Plenty more as well, mate.
Yeah,
exactly.
Totally,
like shit.
man.
We see what, but I want to grow like inside, and like I, you know, that's why obviously I'm going through stuff now, like with my relationship, and obviously this quarantine situation and everything. But at the same time, like it's an opportunity in more ways than one. Like not only for us to potentially take our passions into our full-time life, but just for us to come out stronger and like have lived the experience, like in order for us to like I'm intrigued to see how when I go when things, I'm intrigued to see how everybody else sees life. Like I hope that people don't take things for granted so much,
Yeah.
and people show more respect and love and like appreciation for one another and like for the lives that we have, you know, because this is crazy. So
we've
Yeah.
said this as well. I strongly believe we're gonna, hopefully, but
I'm really hopeful.
the
that
majority,
things will-
with a nicer
the
world.
positives will continue.
Well,
for
look,
sure.
guys. At the end of the day, we are the people. We are the change. Without going into like a big like spiel on it, like all these
Yeah,
things that
mate.
we're hoping happens. Let's
Down to
make them
us.
happen. Look, we have the power to
Yeah.
go back into the world when this all finishes with a revised attitude, with a kind of refreshed kind of outlook. We're taking this time. We're doing things for ourselves. We're connecting with each other. We're connecting with our families. And if we use this time wisely, we can go back into the world with a refreshed perspective, and we can be more positive, more compassionate, more together than we've ever been. So I think it's important to recognise that that's not an abstract thing when we talk about, oh, we hope the world's a better place when we go back into it. We are the world. We can be the change.
Amen.
it's happening.
Yeah, man, definitely.
Respect.
Dude, thank you
Hell
so
yeah,
much
dude.
for
That's a
coming
good
on
vibe.
and being so
pleasure.
honest and open and transparent about your journey. It's amazing. And for what it's worth, man,
Pleasure,
we're always here. We're doing this thing every day. So if
Come
you
back.
ever want to come on and have a chat, and if it helps you at all to come on and have a natter with us, we're always here and you're always welcome.
I've really enjoyed it. So thank you guys. Like, thanks for having me. Thanks for like talking to me and being open like yourselves, and everyone out there who's like watching. Love to you. Yeah, do your thing. Like if you need these guys, they're here for you. My link will be somewhere. Like if I can help in any way, please
Mate,
like
come
just
back.
reach out to me, like big
Yeah.
or small, like we're here. So all the love. For
Dude,
real.
thank you so much.
Joe, you're
Right.
a legend, man.
Pleasure.
Been
Lovely
really
to meet
good
you,
to
man.
meet
You guys too. Nice to
Cheers,
meet
Joe.
you.
Super
Nice
nice
one.
guy.
Nice to meet you guys.
Cheers, man.
Wow.
Fellas, I think that feels like a pretty natural kind of endpoint for the show tonight. We've had some incredible music, we've had a couple of incredible guests, we've had some incredible conversations, and we've had a load of support in the comments. I think that's a good Sunday show. We try to do the kind of mental health thing here every Sunday. We loosely call this the Isolation Wellbeing Podcast, but ultimately it's just us doing our thing, trying to open it up, trying to open the conversation, have these conversations, have the kind of positive vibes that we've had tonight. People opening up and kind of speaking to us. This whole thing is kind of, we've said it from the start, from day one. It's way surpassed our expectations. We know that it's been a good thing for you guys, but equally it's been a good thing for us. So thank you guys that have sticked around and watching us. Sharpie, Luca, thank you guys. It's been an amazing one. I've really enjoyed tonight.
It's been good, mate. Well done.
It's been really
Thank you.
good.
Cool. Right, we'll be back tomorrow with another masterclass at 4:00, hopefully, if we get one booked, and another live show tomorrow at 8:00, which is booked. Come and join us again tomorrow afternoon. We're going to get an early night, I think, all of us tonight, and we're going to start a fresh week tomorrow, and we're going to carry on killing it. Fellas, good night.
Good night.
Ciao.
Ciao.